Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the December 7th, 2021 Cheltenham Cheltenham School District Facilities Committee meeting. I'd like to start with a roll call, and I will go down my list, starting with Mr. Schultz.
Present.
Ms. Henry.
Present.
Ms. Lohman.
Here.
Mr. Epps.
Present.
Mr. Fishbein.
Here.
Ms. Mulhern.
Here.
Mr. Cohen.
Present.
Mrs. Haywood.
Present.
And Mr. Burdell Williams present. Now look for a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the November facilities meeting.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Fishbein. Is there a second?
Second that. Julie Haywood.
Any comment? Thank you, Ms. Haywood. Any comment on the meeting minutes? Yes, Mr. Schultz.
Thank you. I just wanted to note that similar to last month, I would love if there was I'd like to request that there is a inclusion of a link to the video and or the short summary that has been written about the meeting. And this, I'll also raise this in financial affairs. So I would ask that we have that be part of the motion, is that those URLs be included.
Okay. So just clarifying, the video link should be added to the meeting minutes as it is listed on the website.
Yes, that's the request. And of course, the intent is if somebody finds the minutes through board docs rather than through the website, they would be able to be directed to the full meeting video.
Yeah, understood. All right, are the individuals who made the motion okay with that? Likely so. I think that is okay, great. I think that's a great addition, Mr. Schultz, as we've discussed previously. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you for that. And we'll turn it over to Mr. Holman for our presentation.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. All right, Facilities Committee meeting for today, Tuesday, December 7th.
Mr. Holman,
Yes.
are you able to share, and just for a point of order, we normally go finance, business finance first and then facilities?
We normally do facilities first, Dr. Griffin.
Okay, all right. Can you share your screen, Mr. Holman? Because we cannot see the presentation.
I do apologize. Share. Am I sharing it there?
Yes, sir.
All righty.
And if you want to go to the upper right and hit present, that will allow you to fill the screen. Close.
Upper right.
Keep going right there. There's present with the play icon inside of a box. You're right next to it.
To the left of share.
Where are you there?
You were right there.
Move up. Nope. Look hot. You're cold.
Oh, okay. All right.
Over close to.
Go over to. I'm hoping it's your right.
It is your right.
I don't know. Keep going. Nope. You're getting warmer.
Right.
Move back over to you.
Present.
There you go.
It is.
There we go. Okay.
Boom.
Thank you. You know what? The body, the people, you guys were in the way of it, but okay.
Okay.
Got you. That happens from time to time.
Yeah. Oh shucks. What I do now? You got to forgive me.
And now you can use your arrow keys left and right to move forward and backward. You don't have to use the mouse any longer.
Okay. And of course I can't. I've lost my my screen now, but that's okay. I really have just lost my screen.
If you hit the return button, it might also advance it.
No, I don't. Okay, let me.
You don't see your screen?
Nope. All I see is you guys, and I do apologize.
Oh, you know what? So Dan, can you help him? I think it's in his view options, is it? That he has to change his view?
Yeah, I can get the.
It's
Presentation.
possible, Mr. Holman, did you accidentally maximize Zoom somehow?
I have no idea what.
Okay.
Oh, if you look at the top of your
Here we go.
screen.
I'm back.
Okay, all right,
right.
cool.
Whew, man. All right. I apologize.
That's okay.
No.
Dan and I give tutorials on this.
Sign me up for extra class of it. Thank you again for bearing with me through that as I bumbled through it. Facilities Committee meeting, Tuesday, December 7th. We would, our mission statement is drawing on its cultural richness, creativity, and tradition of scholastic excellence. The Shellingham School District strives to nurture each child through a wealth of academic endeavors and community partnerships that provide the skills and vision needed to lead a productive and meaningful life beyond our classroom walls. With a vision statement, with a clear connection between the classroom and the world, the Shellingham School District will strive for excellence by inspiring our students to develop principled and knowledgeable responses to the local, national, and global challenges of the 21st century. 2, actively engaging parents in their children's intellectual, social, and moral education. 3, encouraging faculty and staff to continually broaden the web of connections between their academic disciplines and the world on which they depend. Number 4, stimulating dynamic leadership of building and district administrators and creating, and 5, creating partnerships with the community of individuals, institutions, organizations, and businesses that model real world connections for all students. Here we go. Oh, I done did it again. Let me what did I do? How did I get back to it? I don't know.
You are on slide 3 already.
Yeah, I am. I don't want to do that. I am still trying to get accustomed to this. Not facility. Hold on. All right, slide 3. Shellingham High School library. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
We
Yes,
can.
we
We
can.
can't hear you.
Library piping, condensation issues due to poor pipe installation. Environmental controls inspected indoor air quality, found no evidence of mold. Recommended dehumidifiers, which are there in place to control humidity, which causes condensation, removal of stained ceiling tiles, and replacement of pipe insulation. Replacement cost of the installation is $32,500, and they're to be paid for with ESSER 3 funds. Update on that is we're finalizing the contract for repairs. Met with the lawyers and FDIVA in the library, and are awaiting the directions from the attorneys, our attorneys, on how to move along. So 4. Hold on. Okay, 4. Cedar Brook flooding issue. Investigation of flooding issues. We had a video inspection done of the drains. This also has come from Gilbert Architects. A report come from Gilbert Architects suggesting our next moves. This has also gone to the attorneys for review, and we look to have some movement on that soon as I get a response back from an attorney. Real fast, quick synopsis. They found a pipe that was full of water. There may be a cap on that pipe. Therefore, the system in that run is not functioning. And another pipe was 25% full of water. And that is close to an area that caused flooding in the building. And pipe number 3, issue number 3, the pipe on the backside is partially full of water. And the suggestion there is to clean the debris out of the pipe. The lighting issue has been resolved, and the gym flooring, the work has been completed. The volleyball holes have been provided and painted. Elkins Park, the corroded pipe leading to the boilers has been replaced. The boilers are functioning properly and supplying sufficient heat to the building. The water heater has been repaired, but will need replacement in the near future. The piping and the boilers was a challenge, but we were there until midnight and back again at 5 in the morning to ensure that we didn't lose the building for the day. Blindside Elementary. On December 1st, we experienced a power glitch, which caused the generator to cycle. Contacted Pico. They had no knowledge of a surge, and it came out that the building generator was not supplying electricity to the server, which caused a brief internet outage. West Generator was on site and diagnosed the problem. They're awaiting a part to possibly resolve the issue. We'll be meeting on site there tomorrow to I guess get a resolve with the IT department also. Windcoat, the cooling tower piping to be installed leading from mechanical room to cooling tower. Took a break from that because what we found was once we isolated it from to the outside, we found that the inside piping for the HVAC system was contaminated with sludge and debris. So we has been spending time cleaning that out to prevent further damage to the system. Meaning all the screens and the filters are being changed in the system. The quote was received and approved, and the quote that was received and was approved in July is for $80,000. After we get our inside work done, protect the building, in-house, we are going to call McClure to secure the dates for work. Administration building, as you've driven by in the past couple of days, you've seen a tremendous undertaking on the exterior, the curb appeal of the administration buildings. I had a company come out, window treatments to give us an estimate. We have had the roof repairs done, the immediate repairs done on the roof by USA Roofing. However, the roof needs to be replaced, and I'm awaiting an overall assessment, written assessment for that so that I could share. That's it for my report. Any questions?
Going to first go to the board for questions. Thank you, Mr. Holman, for the presentation. And looks like Mrs. Haywood, your hand is up. Yeah, you're still muted, Ms. Haywood.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Mr. Bernard Williams, and thank you, Mr. Holman, for your report. I did have a couple of questions. For the Cedar Brook project, as it relates to the flooding and some of the damage that was done in the interior walls of the building, as well as we know the gym, that floor has been repaired.
Mhm.
You indicated that the next steps would be contacting our attorneys Whistler Pearlstein and providing them with documentation for litigation. Can you share with the board what the findings were as a result of the investigation of the flooding issue? I know that, we had the, contractor out there, we were looking at, the piping itself. And so was there a construction failure that had been
a
just a
deficiency?
fact? I just wanted to know, just generally, factually, kind of what were the conclusions that we found in terms of the flooding issue?
Well, we have one pipe that is full of water that may be capped. Right? So if that pipe is capped, then that would, lead one to believe that there is a neglect for its construction. The pipes being full of debris. If the understanding is that they should be clear, right? Because depending on what kind of debris they are, if they're construction debris, then that would give us cause to go after the contractors. So it just depends on what kind of debris it is inside those pipes. And number one, the first pipe, why is it capped, and why has it presented themselves? It has not been why is it capped? And if it is capped, because the report says pipe is full of water, the pipe may be capped, therefore the system in this run is not functioning. So if that's a construction problem, then that's an issue that our lawyer will address for us.
Okay, thank you. I don't want to get into the litigation piece of this, but I just wanted to at least understand the background as we were being presented with kind of updates on the investigation of the flooding at Cedar Brook.
And please, just coming on board and not having a history or true understanding of it. I just, as I'm trying to wrap my head around it and figure out where to go from here.
Okay, thank you. And just a couple of other questions related to EP. You indicated that the water heater will need to be replaced in the near future. Do you have an idea of how long in the future? And generally what you may not have a cost, but if you do, that would be helpful for the board to understand what the potential cost would be for replacement.
Well, the typically, heating elements go bad. They are, piece of machinery. But I'm looking at the estimate just because of the size it is, and what I've done, done in the past, about $5,000, including installation for that heater. So, if we could do it in a house, we'll do it in a house and save that installation charge. But I'm looking forward to order one, this week. I will have our supervisor order the tank. I would rather actually order it now because of the supply chain issues. So just so we can have it on hand, if that makes any sense to you. And I hope you agree with me on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I know that supply chain has been an issue. You don't want to be in the dead of winter without a working water heater at EP. Just wanted to know, just generally, what time frame we were talking about. It sounds like sooner than later. And then my last question is related to Wingcote Elementary. with regard to the cooling tower piping.
Mhm.
Is it your sense that some of the cleaning of the debris within the cooling tower is a part of preventive maintenance that should occur typically around this time of year when the leaves are falling?
No, the debris that's in the lines has come from the crack. When the pipes fell underground,
Mhm.
it sucked in. It allowed dirt to come into, or dirt, for lack of a better term, to come into it, and the strainers in this building got clogged. When it goes out to the cooling tower, it goes to a coil. It's encased, so it doesn't. That water never mixes with the water that comes back in the building. The light water comes back in the building. So no, that's not the issue. The issue is the failure of the pipe has caused us to have these issues inside the building. But we do have time until next cooling season to come up with a true and to develop a plan that's going to be that we won't have to revisit again for at least the next 20 years.
Okay, thank you for that
right.
clarification.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Haywood. Mr. Cohen, you had your hand up. I'm just going to go in the order that I saw hands get raised, and then we'll go to Mr. Schultz.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Holman, for the presentation. In regards to the administration building roof, the roof now, of course, is slate, which is very cost prohibitive. I assume we're looking at some cheaper and different options, not to do things cheaply, but different materials that will be more cost effective than slate. Is that a good assumption?
That is your assumption is correct. As of right now, we have USA Roofing who is giving us an estimate. However, we are going to put it out for bid, and not saying we're going to do the work, just get a true and accurate cost. If we have to go with a composite shingle or even just asphalt shingles, then we will give that some consideration. Absolutely. But you're right, slate is cost prohibitive at this time.
Great. Thank you very much. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cohen. Good question, Mr. Schultz.
Thank you, and welcome. It's great to have you presenting. I had a question around I know you're onboarding and diving in. I wanted to know if the school dude report that we often see around preventative maintenance and other items, if we're planning on having that in future. Understood why it wouldn't be on the first round. This is, I think, more of a question for the co-chairs.
Yes, so yeah, absolutely. I am interested in seeing the school dude updates. There was significant amount of effort put into developing the preventative maintenance and corrective maintenance reporting functions using school dude. So yes, those updates, although just one slide, are very helpful visual for the board just to understand progress from a preventative maintenance and corrective maintenance perspective. So yes, Mr. Schultz, I have also had a similar recommendation from Mrs. Lohman as well. So I do think that's it's important for us to have that information in our future meetings.
Thank you. My other question also related to a topic of the past. I just want to make sure it stays on our radar through transitions. We last year invested in a review and survey of our basically assessing our facilities and identifying what improvements were needed. Part of that was for budgeting purposes, but a large targeted outcome of that was to put together a 5-year facilities plan. I want to make sure we don't lose that, because it would sure be a pity to have spent that money and not leverage it. But also, again, underscoring, I appreciate we're in a moment of major transition, so I'm not trying to be unreasonable and say we need it soon. I just wanted to make sure it stays on radars.
How about next committee meeting? I mean, yeah, next month committee meeting, I can have at least a rough draft the plan. Is that
Wow.
fair?
I think
I've already been given that information. I'm going through it as we speak. So at the next meeting, I'll have something for you. If that's fair, that's acceptable.
Sure. Just to be clear, if that changes, or you look at it and you realize, hey, that timeline was aggressive for holidays, for instance, please don't feel. I'm just one board member. I just truly wanted to make sure it was continued to be on this committee's radar. Thank you, and thank you for the report and all of the updates.
Welcome, quite welcome. All right.
thank you, Mr. Schultz. Mr. Epps.
Good evening, everyone. And if it's an introduction, I'm Zachary Epps. I do go by Zachary, pronouns he and him. And as I join, it's definitely good to see a familiar face. Mr. Holman and I work together in the school district of Philadelphia. And so good to see you. Good to see you again. And so also thanks for the presentation. I have a very general question. And you mentioned your onboarding as well. So if we come back, it's fine. Really general. All right. To what extent is the district tracking some of our efforts around the identification and targeted notification of minority women business owners as it relates to our contracts and bids?
I do not have any tracking because I haven't done any outreach yet for new businesses, new companies. The companies that I've been dealing with are the ones that have touched the jobs that so with no point, it won't be fair to bring somebody else on to touch a project that somebody else has already done, right? So as I in one of my interviews, I spoke to that. I will seek minority and woman-owned businesses to give them a fair chance at the table.
Thank you. No, thank you. That certainly suffices for where you said you are now. And like Mr. Schultz, that's something maybe we're putting a pin on the radar. Right. Certainly, as you said, as we move forward. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Mr. Epps. Mrs. Haywood.
Thank you. I just wanted to respond to Mr. Epps's general query. We do have a facilities policy that went through the facilities committee before it was adopted by the full board, and I don't remember the number. That really does address the board's commitment to really look at community-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, as we're talking about engaging contractors for any work in the district. So I just wanted you to be aware that we do have that in place, and it was something that had been discussed at the facilities committee level first before it went to the full board, and there was unanimous support of that particular policy. But like you said, there has to be, some accountability that that's not just our intention, but that we need to monitor that as well.
Thank you, Mrs. Haywood.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Epps.
Yeah, I assume I have to raise my hand. I appreciate that. And that actually pulled the language right from the policy. And so there's a saying, if it's not measured, it doesn't happen. And so it's a really strong commitment. And so I appreciate you sharing that and pointing to where we can actually track it.
All right. Appreciate that, Mr. Epps. And looking for any further board comment. I see none. Let me go into my participant window. Actually, sorry, I see a hand from Mrs. Lohman.
Thank you, Mr. Riddell Williams. I thought I would just ask a kind of comment that I made in the chat to you, which was, I'm curious if any kind of major or semi-major or anything is going on at the high school work-wise. We usually always have, there's always something happening at the high school, hopefully minor, but I'm just curious if there's any kind of work going on, any work happening at the high school, facilities work.
Nothing major. Of course, the library stuff is ongoing, but nothing major. It's a huge school, right? So trying to wrap my hand around there. But I do. Denny Electric came out last week, and they're going to survey our buildings for LED lighting, which is the lighting retrofits are free to the district through a PICO rebate. But we're going to start at our smaller buildings and then work our way up to the high school, right, to the largest building, high school. So if that's helpful,
That's great. Thank you, Mr. Holman. That's good news. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's good to know. I know that there's always some, minor maintenance going on. I was just curious to see if there was anything beyond the library that was sort of brewing at the high school.
And as we move forward, we're not going to replace our T12 or T8 light tubes. We're just going to replace them with the LED kits until we get around to that building. So what we won't do is we won't invest. We will not continue to invest in the traditional light tubes or ballasts. So that actually will save us about $40 per fixture when they go out. So let's times that by 100 fixtures. That's what, $4,000, right? So
that's real money. Great.
Yep.
That's good news. Thank you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I did not see any hands in my participant window. If there are no further questions from the board, I don't see any. Mr. Fishpine looks like you went off mute very quickly. I don't know if you had something.
I'm very apt to
Yeah.
say motion to adjourn.
Yes. Yep. Mrs. Loman, did you have something?
I did. I'm sorry. This just sort of occurred to me because since we're going into the winter season, and I have this vague recollection of Mr. Teasdale telling us about some snow plows that needed to be replaced, or some snow blowers that needed to be replaced. Does this sound familiar? He mentioned some very ancient snow blowers that we had, that he had been concerned if we had another really big snow, it was going to be a problem. And I was sort of wondering what the if just to put that out there so people knew about them and kind of were aware of their checking in on them.
We have a couple of Gravely snow blowers which are over 20 years old, and so I glad you mentioned that. I ordered. It was kind of hard to say order. We found a vendor that we could put our hand on them today, so we got 2 today from a vendor. Again, called another vendor. They won't have any snow blowers or throwers in stock until next year. So it makes sense just to grab them now, and I think we need one more, but that will not stop us from the Band 6 having a successful snow removal season with this one. But yes, the supply chain issues are real, and they are affecting us. So trying to look down the line and what we need, what we may need, so we can just grab it as it becomes available. So
thank you, Mr. Holman, for that update and for the forethought to go grab what you get what you can.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you for that. And looks like nothing else from the board. I will ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Again, so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Sounds like Ms. Henry with the second. Meeting is adjourned.